I'm here again with Andrew Cox. Andrew, what do you have for us today?
Anthony, today I have the DHL Supply Chain Pricing Power Index update for the week. We report this on Thursday afternoons. The shippers gained a little bit more power this week. Just a quick refresher for everyone, we have shipper, full power would be 0. For the carriers, full power would be 100. Right now we're sitting at 25. If we want to look at this a little bit over time, since we started this back in September, we started out, I think, at 35 or 40. The pricing power kind of fell towards the shippers here in the early months of the late fall. And then a run up towards Christmas when capacity typically tightens and we have an extra volumes, especially with that later Thanksgiving holiday this year. The carriers, gained a lot of the pricing power, but as operations have got back to normal here in January, things have kind of fallen off down back to 25.
Gotcha. And so was this move in this latest week expected?
It was expected. You know, these are normal January times. We have volumes that are pretty much horizontal since the recovery after the December, after the January trough.
Right.
So volumes have been almost identical to the ones last year. So we don't have any, we don't have any expectations for them to grow all that much in the near future. And then rejection rates, our outbound tender rejection rates, our measure of capacity, has continued to fall, meaning capacity is loosened, giving those shippers some more power. Rejections are one of our biggest indices that we look at here in this index. So they've continued to fall in lockstep, as has the pricing power for the carriers.
Got you. And you hinted towards some of that. Your expectations. What's your outlook so far for the index?
We are expecting things to tighten up and to have a band up of spot rates here in the next few months. Our 3-month outlook is at 45, meaning we'd be near that. A balanced market would actually be all the way up here at 45. We haven't quite gotten to that point yet. We expect a balanced market here, maybe midsummer when the produce season picks up and some of the volumes get going on the van. But for right now, we're still at 25. Looking forward to some hopeful things for the carriers, but right now, shippers still in dominant power.
Got you. And big headline item, the coronavirus. Is that going to play a factor into any of this?
It certainly can. Like we talked about yesterday in the shipper update, the coronavirus has already made an impact on the Chinese economy, with them being our biggest trade partner and them being so integral to many of the supply chains in the U.S. There's likely going to be a big impact to the U.S. economy too. With the thought that the carriers can gain some of that power moving forward, the coronavirus puts a major damper on all of those expectations. So we're going to have to wait and see and just keep updated on whether the coronavirus makes an impact to the pricing power index, but it likely will in the coming weeks.
Got you. And with this index, there's a lot of macroeconomic, I guess you could say, viewpoints that you take into consideration. Are
Definitely.
there any upcoming indices that you're looking forward to really kind of influence this?
Well, just this morning we had the Bureau of Labor Statistics, their payroll for January, which was a big number. I think 225,000 added jobs, which is great for the economy. I think the unemployment rate may have ticked up to 3.6%, but it can't go much lower than that. And so the economy is still chugging along.
Right.
We had wage growth of 3.1% in trailing 12 months, so that's beating inflation. We're getting real purchasing power for those consumers, which is going to in turn demand more goods and so on and so forth. So the carriers, the economic data is positive for both. We put the momentum as neutral because it's good for both people. It's not helping one, shippers or carriers, more than the other. But yeah, economic data has been good and strong so far through the first 5 weeks of the year.
Excellent. So it sounds like we have good outlook so far. Of course, those uncertainties coming from the coronavirus side of things.
Right.
But Andrew, thank you so much for that update. And that's going to do for this edition of the DHL Supply Chain Pricing Power Index Update. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll be sure to keep you up to date on the next week's edition.